Coach, we'll start with you. Just give us an opening statement on what bowl preparations have been like for you guys so far and how you're transitioning into bowl week.
And, you know, first of all, we're excited for the opportunity that we have here this week. We'd like to personally thank everybody associated with the Chick-fil-A Bowl here in Atlanta for making this such a wonderful event. You know, we had 7 practices last week in Tuscaloosa. We kind of went back to the basics. I'm sure John and these guys were excited about it. But we had 7 really good days just trying to focus on improving as a team. You know, we've got a tremendous challenge in front of us with Washington. These guys are extremely well coached, have a very good quarterback. They're very athletic up front. They got playmakers at the running back position, tight end position, wide receivers. So we got a tremendous challenge in front of us. You know, the thing that we've got to do is, as a football team, you watch these bowl games and, you know, it's been, I don't know how many days it's been since we've played, but several weeks here, and the first thing that you lose is your block protection, how to get off blocks, and you got to tackle. You know, we kind of have a saying in our room that every play ends either with a touchdown or a tackle, so we got to find a way to get these guys on the ground. All right.
Jonathan, talk to us a little bit about what last night was like, getting settled in, doing the events and the Battle for Bowl Week competitions. Was that fun for you?
That was fun. I mean, as a team, we enjoyed the camaraderie with each other. So, you know, it was good to, you know, just have a little bit of fun in our line. But this week's all about making things normal for us and make things how they've been the whole season. I feel like the coaching staff and the coach have done a good job of doing that with the meetings and the preparation. So it was the first good day, and we had fun afterwards.
All right. Good deal. All right, same drill, guys. Raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone. Please give us your name and your affiliation and to whom you're addressing your question. Where are we going to go? Okay, right here in row 3, please, in front.
Jeff Spiegel, WBMA Birmingham. Jeremy, is this one of these, you know, pinch me, am I dreaming moments? Because not too long ago you were an assistant coach at Hoover High School, and you're in position to maybe win your 2nd national championship in 4 seasons.
You know, first of all, I'm very thankful for the opportunity that Coach Saban gave me 10 years ago. You know, and I do have to pinch myself because there's a lot more high school coaches out there that's far more deserving than me, just kind of right place, right time. And the big thing for me is it's about the kids, and this group of guys that we got this year is as fun a group as I've ever been around. It's exciting to see these guys. You know, being gone from them for 3 days and just kind of seeing them when they come back in the room, it's kind of a joy to be around these guys.
Okay, right here in the front. 2nd row, please. Barrett.
Barrett with the Bleacher Report. Jeremy, Nick has said, you know, countless times this season that going against the spread offense has really helped your defense in preparation for all the offenses that you see. How much has, you know, being around this defense changed since the time you were there before in your first stint at Alabama?
You know, I think one of the things that Coach Saban, what makes him such a really good football coach is how he adapts. And the 6 years that I was with him before, he found ways to adapt as the offense has changed in college football. He found ways to, you know, create probably different looks for teams that we play. The 3 years that I've been gone, there has been some changes, and he's adapted to some of the things that's going on in college football.
We're going right. All right, right here in the 2nd row with Tony, please.
Tony Barnhart, SEC Network. Jonathan, when you made the decision to come back, and all the reasons that went into it, you're standing here within 2 games of a national championship. Did this year go pretty much exactly the way you hoped it would?
Oh, man, I have to say this year went as better than I could have ever expected. You know, when I came back, it was a tough decision, but I had to put the faith in the resources that I was given and Coach Saban. And, you know, I think it paid off, but far from over, far from finished. You know, hopefully got 2 more games left. We just got to keep grinding and keep working.
All right, back here in the back, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Good morning, gentlemen. From the outside, when we look at what you guys are doing and capable of doing, we just see one of the most dominant defenses in recent memory. What do you see when you look at what you're capable of doing? Both of you, please.
I see a team that has a lot of success when we put in the work. The game we don't have success, those are probably our worst weeks of practice. So, kind of goes hand in hand. We practice good and do everything we're supposed to do and go to bed on time and just do what we got to do as a defense. We'll have success in the game when we don't. It's not successful. So as Coach Pruitt said, we can be as low as we want to be if we don't do what we have to do.
I kind of see a group of guys that believe in each other. They enjoy being around each other. You guys know when you like going to work, you're very productive, and our guys like to go to work. So that's one thing that I see, and I can't emphasize it enough. The kind of camaraderie that these guys have, how they call on each other, they believe in one each other, and they hold each other accountable. And that goes with the strong leadership that we have on this defense.
All right, back left.
Hi, I'm Cecil Hurt from the Tuscaloosa News, Coach Pruitt. Jeremy, midway through the season, you lose a guy who's potentially an All-American safety in Eddie Jackson. How did the defense change? What did you have to do differently, or was it just a case of next man up?
You don't replace guys like Eddie Jackson. They're far and few between. Eddie was a tremendous leader for us. I saw him yesterday getting on the bus. He's not on crutches anymore. He's walking, got a smile on his face. I asked him if we could get a few more plays out of him on Saturday. But, you can't replace a guy like that. And he still has an impact on the guys on this football team just by being there every day. We lost Sean Dion in the Florida game. It's another guy there. So we just got to, so it's somebody else's turn, and they'll be ready to go.
Okay, Lindsay.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Jeremy, John Ross at UW is one of the most explosive players in the country. When you watch film, what stands out to you about him? Why is he so good?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
John Ross at UW is one of the best receivers in the country, one of the most explosive players. What makes him so good? What stands out to you when you watch film of him?
First of all, he runs really good routes. They have a great scheme. They move him around. It's hard to predict where he's going to be. He wins 50-50 balls. You play man-to-man on him. He wins the 50-50 balls. He's really good with the ball after the catch. They do a nice job with him in the screen game. He's instinctive. He's an instinctive football player. But the big thing about him to me that tells what kind of competitive spirit he's got is the way he blocks in the run game. The guy gets after the run game, and that kind of tells you who he really is.
Okay, right here.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. This is for both of you. What does their quarterback, Jake Browning, do that's maybe different or more challenging than other quarterbacks you've prepared for?
All right. Jonathan, start with you.
One thing that Browning doesn't get enough credit for is his versatility. He's a very athletic quarterback. So after breaking down the film, time after time, you see linebackers and defensive backs just missing tackles on him and making great throws down the field. And that's something that I don't think he gets enough credit for. So that's definitely something that we practice for. We're going to be ready for it. But other than that, he's just such a poised, confident back. He trusts all his receivers, spreads the ball out evenly throughout the offense. So it definitely will be a good challenge for us, but we're excited for it.
I'd say the big thing is he protects the football. There's very few interceptions, very few turnovers, which is very important. He understands the offense. He understands what they're trying to get done. He doesn't hold the ball. He knows where he's going with the ball. He throws guys open. He's got a very good understanding of the run game. They obviously have, their RPO game. He gets the ball out of his hand. But again, he can extend. He probably doesn't get enough credit for the athletic ability that he has. He can extend and be a playmaker with his feet, but he does a nice job with his eyes down the field to create explosive pass game.
Okay, right here in the front, please.
We don't have Jonathan's mic back.
Yeah, it's
they didn't figure out what's wrong. Jonathan's mic's not coming back.
No, it's just not coming through.
Is that all right?
Is that better?
Well, we're not getting it. You guys are hearing it.
Try a different mic, something, anything, guys?
Yeah, let's get one of those other mics up here, please. Thank you. All right, you want to try that one, Jonathan?
Is that better?
Everybody good? All right, we apologize for that. All right, okay, let's get back on track here, right up here in the front, please.
This is for Coach Pruitt and Jonathan. Kerry Clark, BamaMag.com. Coach and Jonathan, there's been talk that Coach Saban had the video department go back like 8 years to back when Coach Pete was at Boise and just put a reel together of just trick plays. First of all, did he really go back 8 years? And secondly, what all did each of y'all notice on that reel?
I wouldn't put anything past Coach Saban, so I'm not sure if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And I mean, we watch a lot of their trick plays, and they do a lot of trick plays. And when it comes to stuff like that, it's all about discipline as a defense, having good eye control, every man doing their job and not trying to do someone else's job. So as a defense, I feel like we're going to have success with it, but we still have to prepare and practice for it.
Yeah, I'd say that we always try to go back and look at the history of your opponent. I wouldn't say 8 years, that's probably too far. But you want to have an idea of what they've done in similar type games, and these guys do an excellent job executing what they do.
Okay, right here in the middle.
Coach Pruitt, I kind of wanted to, since Coach Saban's like a defense guy, I wanted to know how much during games, in the course of games, you know, he's calling the plays versus you calling the plays, how hands-on he is with the defense during games.
Yeah, I would say Coach Saban's very hands-on in every part of our program, from the weight room to the nutrition to all the way down to, you know, what we're going to wear to this press conference. So, but yes, in game day, it's a luxury. As a play caller, you got somebody to lean on. You know, obviously I call the plays, call the defenses, and if he has something that he likes or wants to interject, obviously he does. You know, so.
All right, where are we going next, guys? All right, all the way back, Marty.
All right, we'll try this again since Jonathan's mic, I think, is working.
You've been on some time with defense. Throughout your time at Bama, you've been on dominant defenses. Coach Pruitt, you've coached some really dominant defenses. Quite simply, how good is this group and why?
I feel like this group will be as good as it want to be. I mean, when we're focused, doing our job, executing, communicating, running to the ball, having fun, we feel like we could be the best at it. But if we're not doing our job, guys aren't communicating, not doing our job. I mean, anybody can move the ball on it. So I feel like it's in our hands, and we're excited for the challenges and opportunity. We love playing for one another and playing with each other, so that just makes it that much better, and we're just excited.
You know, I think this day and time, it's hard to get one guy to do his job, much less 11 guys to do their job. You know, I think this group has been unique in the fact that not only they know what to do, they know how to do it, they know why it's important to do it that way. And you can find guys that can do that some of the time, but it's hard to find guys that can do that all the time. And I think that's unique about this bunch is they can sustain. They can do it. It don't matter, you know, what's going on in the game, what the atmosphere is. I think the bigger the challenge, the more they kind of rise to the top. And I think that's what's unique about these guys.
All right, where we go next, guys? Time for a few more. All right, up here in the front. Tony, please.
Jeremy, you talk about them taking good care of the football, but when you're plus 21 in turnovers, they're obviously forcing a lot of turnovers. What have you seen? I know you're watching their offense, but what have you seen from them and their ability to create turnovers?
You know, I think some of that has to do with being opportunistic. You know, as a coach, when you go to recruiting guys, you want to find guys that are ball hawks, you know, whether they play the defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs. It's one thing to me involved in recruiting. If you sign a guy that's a defensive back and he don't intercept any passes on Friday nights, he's probably not going to intercept any on Saturday. So I think some of that's got to do with recruiting. I think some of it's got to do with those guys putting their players in places to make plays, and they've taken advantage of that.
All right, back to Marty.
Killing y'all, sorry. You guys won your league, they won their league, obviously a very talented team, yet you guys are 14-point favorites. What's the significance?
I don't think we really pay attention to that. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. At this point, as Coach said, we'll say every team is 0-0. And to get into the playoffs, you have to be a really good team. So we're not focused on what anything or anybody has us favored in this game, because anybody can be beat on any day. So we're just trying to go out there with a blue collar mentality, just work and just put our best foot forward. Whatever happens, happens.
You know, I'd comment on that, just kind of on top of what John said. Is, you know, it has nothing to do with what's happened in, you know, September, October, November, December. You know, it's the beauty about this sport. You know, that 60 minutes, who plays the best, and for those 60 minutes, the best team's not going to win. It's going to be the team that plays the best for those 60 minutes is going to win the football game, and that's something we got to focus on.
All right, time for just a couple more. Anybody else? All right, we'll go back up here to the front left, please.
Jeff Spiegel, WBMA Birmingham. Jeremy, I wanted to ask you this, and wanted also to get Jonathan's take on this. In all the years that you've worked with Coach Saban, how much have you maybe become like him? And you know, if you could, if Jonathan could talk about that as well.
Well, sometimes I kept myself talking to him. I'll go back home and I'll be talking to family, and just kept myself saying things he would say. So I feel like in a lot of ways I am like Coach Saban. You know, that's not a bad thing. You know, after being under Coach Saban for so long, you start to think like him. You see how he thinks. You see the success that it brings. So it's kind of hard not to act like that, and not follow his lead and do the things he does and talk like he talks, because it always is successful.
All right, right here in the front.
You've been to the college football playoff 3 straight years. Does the pain of losing that first year outweigh the winning it last year?
Yeah, I definitely say it was. Something that Coach Saban said and that we all kind of agree with is we hate losing more than we like winning. You know, so that's a game I wish I could have that, but obviously there's no do-overs in this game. So any guy who's here never has to have any motivation to work hard and play hard. So we just try to show the young guys that there's no other feeling like losing a game like that. So I mean, I just kind of keep it in the back of my mind, just kind of work every day and just never forget about it.
All right, time for one more. All right, all the way back here in the back left, please.
For Coach Pruitt again, Jeremy, you've been through playoff situations before, and this is just a personal preference question. Do you like the month to prepare to watch that much film or so forth, or do you worry about paralysis by analysis in those situations?
No, I think, I mean, it's the same for all the teams involved, you know, so you kind of, you play the hand that you're dealt and figure out the way to, you know, create the best advantage for your team.